I was just speaking with Erin. So I was just speaking with Erin from our company that we work with that does our social media and all the advertising and stuff like that. So she'll be requesting the links from yourself for all that, Adner. So I think we'll just we will go ahead with the presentation here today, but it may be just the three of us. So we can ask, myself and Bart can ask lots of questions.
But do you want me to start the presentation, or do you want to wait a little bit?
Let's give it a couple of minutes. Yeah, let's give it a couple of minutes, and then we'll start then. So, how's everybody in Portugal?
Well, quite good for the moment, but we will have the football match, the European match here. So we are expecting a lot of British people here,
Okay. Is that this weekend?
Yeah, I believe I believe it already started. I'm not sure. But I can see on the news that we will have plenty of people attending here, even knowing that tickets were crazy high, like 1,000 euros or something like that. It's totally crazy.
Yeah. It's just nobody's been on holidays for this last year and a half. So if you had an opportunity to go to a European football match in a country where the bars and restaurants are open again, yeah, so there's a fair lot of people would find that money and fork it out.
I know, but numbers are okay here. It's not that bad, to be honest. So
you guys seem to be on the holiday list for everybody. Everybody keeps talking about Portugal. Portugal's open. Portugal.
Yeah, because it's cheap. Living here, it's a cheap country. Like food and drinks. I don't know how much you pay for a beer there, but
much?
It's how much do you pay for a beer?
It could be like anything between $4.20 to like maybe in Dublin. I don't even want it. Like the prices actually go up at 11 o'clock in Dublin. Like you can pay like €8-9 for. Well, I think maybe that's a wee bit extravagant, but you're paying at least €6.
But here the common glass of beer, like 400 CL or something, you pay like €1. So it's pretty.
Yeah.
And even
a little more.
Even food, it's pretty good and pretty cheap. That's why I live in Portugal.
Yeah. So we've got Helen joining us here. Who's actually playing? Is Man City and Chelsea? Is that the final?
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't follow football. I just saw them in the news.
I think definitely Man City are in it, but I'm not sure if it is. I think it is Chelsea. I have a funny feeling it is.
Might be.
Oh, Helen's gone again. Technical issues. Here. Sure. Tell you what. Why did you fire away there, Adner? And yeah, I said, Bart, jump in at any stage there around any questions. I don't know if you're. I think you were present for some of the other stealth webinars. But the products that we've been using most recently is the Comfort Company products we have that we can't get anymore just due to their supply issues. We have been supplementing them with the new True Form backs is probably is one of the biggest products ranges that we brought on, and the Diego back, which is kind of just it's a seat and back combination. But the True Form stuff, it started now coming through. I was out doing some deliveries there last week on it. I must say I'm really impressed with it. It's the only thing I would quib about would be the thermal strips in the back. You actually have to go and heat them up. Them being thermal strips and all of that. It just takes a wee bit longer. But they really hold. So it's just you have to have your heat gun handy and get them into it. But you're probably going to tell me, Adner, that you can just put them in hot water or something, and it's away they go.
No, with a heat machine, like you were saying.
Well, okay. Well, yeah, it just took a little bit longer than the usual with the aluminium strips in the from the Comfort Company stuff. But bar that, the bracketry, the quick release, the ADI quick release bracketry is very nice, and even the fixed, like the flip lock, I just think it's complete overkill. So we've Kevin is doing some changing on the order forms for ourselves. Like the quick release ADI stuff is included in the price, so there's no the ADI or the quick or the flip lock. It's very expensive. When the other one is free and it does exactly the same thing, I don't get it. Plus, you're kind of limited a little bit with the back canes when you do use the flip lock stuff. So, but anyway, that's just my 2 cents on what the products that I've been using there and Stealth or new products that I've been using for Stealth with Stealth over this last while. But there is a wide array of products. Well, over to you.
So, do you want me to start here?
Yes, please.
Okay, awesome. So, if you have any question or doubt, feel free to get in and jump and make questions. Okay, no problem. Okay. So here, I divided this presentation in 4 different topics. Okay, positioning items, the Diego seat, miscellaneous, and tech. To be honest, I could have plenty more menus here because Stealth has millions of references, and obviously we could not put everything here. What we try to do is every different market that we go to start working with them, we try to make a selection of products that market feel that they will use. And when we start working, we start adding products or removing products, depending on the markets, depending on the wheels, etc. So here, what I tried to do, it was to make like a list of mostly the most products that we have for the European market, okay? Imagine that you have a specific case that probably you would need a different hardware, a different piece of metal, for a certain goal. I could tell you we can do it. I don't like to tell you just because lead times usually they are really high when we do something specific for one case, okay? And that's why, for example, in the States, it's pretty common and they are really used to request out of the standard choices products, because they can do it whatever, it's going to be fast and easy. But then when we start working outside the States, it starts the mess. So that's why we don't list everything here. So starting on the positioning items. So here, usually I tend to look to the client to understand what will be the needs in terms of the client, depending on the postural goals. And usually we looked for the pelvis, for the hip, we go for the spine, obviously. We go for the knee joints. We go for the ankle joints. We go for the head positioning, and we go for the elbow joints. So usually we tend to split in segments the body to apply products specifically for that body segment. And that's what I try to do on this type of presentation. So when we look for the body, for example, for the pelvis hip, we talk about cushions, we will talk about the belts, and we will talk about the unilink connections, so hardwares to apply all the products. And usually we combine that for different body segments. For example, for the spine, we can talk about ADI, TFB, belts, and Unilink. So it's going to be common, the belts and the Unilink. For the knee joint, for example, belts and Unilink, hardwares, ankle joints, it's going to be exactly the same. For the head, we have the head positioning. Those are specific for stealth. And then for the elbow joint, we will talk about the Unilink only, okay? So there are a certain amount of different products, and the Unilink, as you can see there, it's gonna be something almost related to everything instead of the head. But right now, we also have Unilink connections for the head supports, as you will see on the presentation. So when we start splitting the products, we will go obviously for the first one, talking about the cushions. What we try to do about the cushions, and here I'm not going specifically on detail about the cushions, I'm just talking about products. One of the things that I like to highlight that we did, it was to create what we call the PLAs. So PLAs, let me show you here. It's when we provide a stable base of support. The inferior part of the pelvis consists in different PLAs. So the PLA will be the pelvic loading areas. And those are the marks that you can see on the cross. So we tried to create different PLAs so you can relate a certain cushion, for example, to a certain pelvic loading area. So if you have a certain goal, stabilizing or providing less sliding or providing more lateral control of the pelvis, for example, you will look for a cushion with different characteristics on the PLAs so you can point your finger to a better choice for your goal, okay? So that's why we create the PLAs, the pelvic loading areas. Right now, exactly on this moment that we are talking, we are doing exactly the same, but for the head. So we are creating head loading areas, so HLAs, specifically for the head supports. So we are doing a huge presentation about head supports that we are relating breathing, swallowing, speech, for example, everything related to the head positioning, and we are creating the HLAs, the head loading areas, so you can point a finger to a certain hardware for a head support and choose the best one for accordingly to your goals. So when we look, for example, for the PLAs, we can distinguish here the lateral stability or, for example, the front to back stability. So we can relate different PLAs depending on the goals that we have for a specific product. And that's why we did it like this way. So when we are looking, for example, for a cushion, as you can see here, this is the most basic one. As I told you, I will not go deeper in terms of cushions, or we could last a full morning just talking about cushions. As you can see, that's the picture with the PLAs. You can see that, for example, the blue one, it's going to be related to the to stability, and the green one will be more for pressure release, okay, as you can see there. So we highlighted the ones that we have per cushion, so it's going to make it easy for you to make a selection of a cushion. We did a lot of studies. We did also some comparative studies, and our level, it's really high. We are really glad with the conclusions that we get with products. And we are just anxious that people start sending more feedback, because we are getting really nice results, not only on pressure release, but also on stabilization and so on, lack of sliding and so on. So it's been really brilliant. So this is the most basic one, the Simplicity G. Then we go for the Zen SP. The SP will be related to skin protection. Usually I tend to point the finger to our cushions as a medium high level, always. We only have one at this moment specific for positioning with wedges that we can already go, for examples, for obliquities, pelvic obliquities, for example. But we are on the final results for sending one that it's going to work as a kit. You may select more abduction, the height of the adductors or abductors. You can select if you want foam or air on the rear part or a combination of both. So you can draw more or less and play a little bit with the product itself. So
when is that coming to market, Adner?
Sorry?
When is that product coming to market?
Look, to be honest, I was already expecting to have it out. They sent it for the third quarter of this year, and I was already to be done. I know that the testing was passed, but then they requested more testing for the inflammability situation. And we are just waiting for the results. And as you know, it's always a mess when you have to do tests and so on and approvals. So that's what we are waiting. I already saw the final products. I'm really glad with it. And I'm starting now. I will start in September, October, a tour in the Spanish markets. So I will do once again around the country. And I'm expecting to have it already at that time, because everybody is looking. If you are talking about positioning, you need to have a proper cushion that allows us to do whatever we need to do. You know, that's middle.
Okay. Looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, it's going to be the Spectrum. It's going to be called Spectrum 2, at least for these moments. That's the name that we have here. So this is the Zen SP. As you can see, the PLAs are really more highlighted. Obviously talking about pressure release and compression. So to control even better the pelvis. This is the glacial skin protection. As you can see, also really nice results in terms of weight distribution and similar to the previous one. So this is the Premier P. P it's for positioning. This is the Spectrum Foam SPP, so skin protection and positioning. As you can see there, we have a mix of foams inside the cushion. So that's gonna really high end in terms of pressure release. The Spectrum Gel, it's gonna be exactly the same, but instead of foam, we will have gel on the coccygeal area. The Solution Skin Protection and Positioning. The True Comfort 2 SPP. This one, it was probably one of the first quantum cushions that we start releasing with the first TB3 system, and we just changed the cover. And when we changed the cover for the new cover that we are using with Colcore, people start getting crazy, because all the testing that we have on the cushions, this is the best one in compared to all the other ones that we have here. So in terms of quality, it's a really high-end product. You can see that you will have really a nice contour for the pelvis and the legs also, the leg alignment. But in terms of weight distribution and immersion, the comfort that we have on this cushion, it's really outstanding. It's really wonderful. So in terms of price, it's on the middle range, so it's not that expensive. So it's a really nice combination for a product. So the Sense SPP here, we already can start talking a little bit about positioning. So it's not a complete kit, but we already have some wedges that allows us to work a little bit with pelvic obliquity. So here we can start working a little bit more with the positioning items. So I did also a relation, as you can see there. And on the presentation that we have always some clinical questions that you can see below there on the down parts. Those are the clinical questions that usually people ask, and you can find the answers also to select the cushion easier. So you can use or the specifications of the product on the top parts, then you will see the PLAs, and then down there you will see the clinical questions that they are related to each cushion. Okay, so it's going to be a board to easy selection. It's a comparative of all the cushions, so you can easy find what you are looking for. So then we go for the stealth positioning. Stealth positioning is what we call for our belt line. Okay, on our belt line, once again, I will not go deeper in terms of specifications, because once again, it would be a full morning presentation just talking about belts and how to properly mount it and angles and so on. So here it's much more product specific. So we are showing here the 2-point pelvic belt. As you can see there, we are offering in two different buckles. One, it's going to be a quick release. The other one, it's going to be a plastic buckle. So difference of price, but the same goal for the belts. We are offering also the retractable belts. This is mounted usually on the rails of the bases, and you can, it works like a car belt. So it's going to be easy, retractable or not. So it's going to be an easy way, much more for transport instead of positioning. Then the 4-point pelvic belt. Here we are presenting two different belts because one, as you can see, the top one will be a connected straps, one on the upper side, the other one on the lower side. Personally, I don't like it that much. I'm sorry to say that, and we are saving these. So, but that's the truth. I like it, but I don't like it that much, because in terms of stabilization, it's awesome. But in terms of positioning, it is a little bit more limited than the lower one. So the one that we are showing down, we have secondary stripes that allows us to play much more when we are talking about asymmetrical position of the belt for asymmetric positions of the pelvis. And here we are showing some hardware. So buckle covers, cane clamps, or stealth cam locks. So those are the hardwares that we are offering to assemble or to use our stealth positioning belt line. Then we go for the Unilink. So as I was telling you on the beginning of the presentation, Unilink is something, even for us, a little bit new. Okay, so we are working more or less for half a year with Unilink, tested already, but on the markets only now we start getting much more feedback from the end users and clients and distributors and dealers and so on. So Unilink, we need to talk about first, what is Unilink? So we were used to work already with the world's best family of products. That's why we call it the TWB, the world's best. And we were trying to improve a little bit more the TWB family of products. So we wanted to simplify the use because we had different sizes for different goals, and we wanted to do it a little bit easier. So during this project, the past issues of TWB were addressed, so we could add more things into the Unilink. So Unilink allows to near limitless positioning of components with improved strength over the TWB. So eventually all TWB will be replaced by Unilink components, and I hope it's going to be as fast as possible, because the new Unilink is pretty unique. So those are the TWB links, the older ones. We are still using them. We still have stock of them. So if you have clients already with products on it and you need to do a replacement or something, we still have parts for it. So right now we don't have any problems in terms of stock, but our goal is to change everything for the new Unilink. So the TWB, or the world's best link, use comfort compression feeding to lock into the place. So compression is achieved with two opposing angles, and this means compression happens at both sides of the link. So TWB allows us to 275 degrees of rotation at each joint. So you can add or remove links, so you can add more joints or remove joints depending on your goal. Links can be added or removed, as I was saying, and the side screw cleat further increases the strength and helps lock in the position. So the set screw, it's the small one that I'm gonna point now here, okay? So the set screw, it was something that when we finalized the position of the link itself, we would set that screw inside the metal, and that would totally lock the link to the other one. The problem with that is that a lot of people didn't use the quick release button, and they were just making a lot of pressure to do the swing away of lateral or the head support or whatever hardware they were using. And actually, the set screw was, instead of locking the links, was just destroying them. And it was one of the things that we were using, and then we started advising to stop using it just because we were having some issues of misuse of the product. So the new Unilink, as you can see, we have a difference in terms of hardwares. So it uses a similar compression technology. It's going to be almost the same. So the opposing angles are eliminated because we have a different connection. A male and female cone are inserted into the link to create a joint that is about 4.5 times stronger than the previous one. So this is one of the good things of the Unilink. Unilink joints hold up to 102 livres per foot before moving, so it retains much more pressure. Each joint can rotate up to 258. So we will have less rotation, but once the sizes will be different, we will have more angles to play with, as you will see further on the presentation. So links can be added and removed to achieve the perfect fit, as the previous one, and the links have been developed for multiple applications. All links are universal and will interchange. So this was the most important thing that we were looking for. Why? Because the TWB, we have limits on different products that we have. For example, imagine that I was talking about a pediatric product. I could have a pediatric lateral with a pediatric link. So if I wanted to use that link on an adult hardware, I could not use it just because the size was so different and the connections and the rings and the screws that I could not relate the smallest ones with the highest ones. And then on the adult sizes, we had differences between what was head hardware and laterals or other types of hardwares. So with Unilink, it doesn't matter if we are talking for pediatrics, if we are talking for adults, if it is a pommel, an adductor, lateral, a head support, you can just play with the links. So now it's like Lego. You can just disconnect there, connect on the other place, and it will work properly. And that was one of the things that we were looking for, because it's going to reduce a lot the stock on the dealers also. And you can just play and use it wherever you need to. So all threads are M5, finally metric threads. I don't know if you are still used to work in Imperial. Are you, Luke, or not? Okay, so once this is all metric.
We try not to. It is much easier. Yes, the Stealth probably could be guilty of doing a little bit of mix and match of on the old TB or TWB. Yeah. It might be a little bit of metric and a little bit of Imperial. So yes, it's good to hear they're all metric.
Yeah, finally we have everything metric now. So then we can adjust with the 4M and X, so it's pretty easy to find it and use. No more set screws. So once that we can apply more pressure and we can retain much more pressure on the links than itself, we don't need the set screws that it was actually damaging the products, the previous TWB. So steel threads and steel bolts do not size to each other. So three lengths, we will have three different sizes, 3.81 centimeters, 5.08, and 7.62 centimeters of links. So those sizes, you can play with them, connect them, and it doesn't matter if it is for head support, lateral, elbow, or an abductor block. So then we go for the tie guides, and those are specific for the pelvis hip. That's what we are talking. So this is the tie guides that we are offering now. Stave is height adjustable. Links are adjustable in one plane, and it's used to facilitate proper positioning of the pelvis and tights. Can be used to help when the tights are abductor or wind swept. May also aid in guiding the hips into the proper position, and the hardware allows for multiple points of adjustment to allow for a perfect fit. So removable to weight in transfers and ADLs. So daily activities, we always try to relate all the products for the daily activities just because we think that the product should be easy settled up and easy removable when necessary. So height adjustable to provide correct positioning regardless the cushion height variances. Angle adjustable for full surface contact while accommodating lower extremity postural anomalies. So once again, we are offering different sizes for the links that you can play accordingly to the needs. The built-in track of the back of the pad will allow the pad to be adjusted for appropriate positioning. And actually, we can slide it forward, but we can still slightly bend it a little bit for a small rotation also of the cushion. Track mounted received allows for more flexibility in mounting position. And this is it, multiple pad sizes as always, and this is it for the pelvis. Then we go for the trunk or the spine. So first of all, we will talk about the ADIs. So ADIs, we are offering the carbon fiber, the CF series, an ultralight back support design for active individuals. It doesn't mean that we cannot use it on a more dependent user, but usually because of the weight of these back supports, usually who is looking for them are more active users. We are offering 8 widths, 3 heights, and 2 support contours. What specifications do we have here? So those are the ones. Fits chairs with from 12 till 19 inches, support heights 10, 13, and 16. The contour, we are just offering 2, the active and the deep. And the weight, it's really, really light, 370 grams. Mounting hardware options, we actually have 5, but we are just showing here 4 because the second one, as you can see, the 2-point Pro, we offer 2-point Pro or 4-point Pro. It's going to be exactly the same, but instead of having 2 points, we are using 4 points, 2 on each side. That's going to be exactly the same for the other ones. So the AL series from aluminum, we are offering 11 widths, 5 heights, 3 support contours. So we have one more deep contour for this one. Those are the specifications for the new aluminum series. And we are using exactly the same hardware for all of them. We start using a few of these hardwares, not only for the ADI lines, but also for the true forming back, as you will see further on. And this is the AFT. So the AFT, the difference, the FT, it's flat top. As you can see on the drawing, the only difference is that the scapula area, it's not open, it's closed. So usually we are offering these for more dependent users that they need belts, for example, and that you need to accommodate a chest strap, for example, and you need to have something flat on the same height of the shoulders to apply the belts. We are offering exactly the same 11 widths and 5 heights and 3 supports contours as the previous, exactly the same specifications and exactly the same mounting hardware. The only difference here is the shape of the contour of the back.
Just on those, Adner, I know that myself and Kevin in Stelzer in the UK have been working on different order forms. The shoulder harness guides, those ones. Well, maybe you have them in here, but yeah, they're a useful little tool there whenever you're doing those. Whenever you have to add the harnesses onto them.
But you don't have the hardware, or you have?
No, we have. That's what I'm saying. They're very useful, and not in all cases they're needed, but whenever sometimes you need the shoulder harness guides.
Well, I'm just asking you because this is something that I'm adding. It's this hardware that we are talking about. Okay. So I don't have any picture here on the presentation, but you can see on the video. So those guides are the ones that we apply on the back supports. I will show you where. I'm going back on the presentation here, sorry. So we are mounting that right on these slots that we have there. So we can place them here, and then we can guide the belts for which height or angle, lateral angle that we need to, okay? So with this type of hardware, we can guide the belts to not make pressure on the shoulder, and we can actually do much more internal rotation or external, depending on the positioning of the belts. So this is something that, in terms of picture, I got this picture yesterday by WhatsApp, and I still didn't include it on the presentation because actually it was something new also for me in terms of hardware, and probably because of your market, because you have a huge demand on it. So it's good to know. So those are the hardwares that we were talking previously. We are just showing some pictures of it. As you can see, the 2 Pro, the second one, we can use 4 points of it, 2 on each side. The quick release, it's probably one of the main ones that we are working right now in Europe. And those are available not only for the ADI, but also for the TFP. So those are the lateral supports. Those lateral supports, in my personal opinion, they are good for a certain amount of positioning that doesn't require a lot of alignment, okay? If you want to create some stabilization, some prevention, for example, for future possible scoliosis that might be postural or something like that, or still highly flexible, we can recommend them. But those are not like seating and positioning highly recommended for a big demand on positioning. Different cushions, as you can see there, but the same hardware. We have it on the fixed and also on a swing away, quick swing away lateral. Then we go for the TFBs. The new TFBs, those are completely new also for Stealth. We are getting a really nice feedback as we start talking on this presentation, the rectangle and the I style. So depending on the markets, for example, in Portugal, we don't work with the I style. If we go to the Spanish market, we already work with the I style and also the rectangle. But for some reason, Portugal didn't want to start with the I style, so we don't have it here. So lightweight with minimal contouring, slight bend at the wedge for some lateral stability. So we can also do a modification to be, it doesn't matter if it is the rectangle or the I style, we can do a biangular modification. Nowadays, this is being really highly requested because of the results that we have on helping controlling the pelvis, okay? So one of the 3 points of contact that usually we tend to speak a lot in terms of seating and positioning, one of the first points to control the trunk will be the pelvis. And then the following. One, it's going to be one of the laterals, and the other one is going to be the other lateral, a little bit higher. So being the first point, the hip, nowadays we are trying to apply that pressure not only with the belt itself, but also with the back supports. And having the biangular modification, that allows us to play a little bit with the angle of the cushion to provide stabilization of the pelvis, and then provide the normal contour of the spine to feel the need of comfort of the clients. So then we go for the contour style. The contour style, as you can see there, in terms of drawings of design, we can compare a little bit with the ADI. And to be honest, this is more or less a mix between the TFB rectangle and the ADI line. In terms of hardware, we can apply the same ADI hardware. We have some specific also from TFB. This is available in terms of active, deep, and extra deep. The cutouts and the slots will be similar in terms of TFB rectangle and I style, so it's going to be exactly the same cuts. The contour has extra headrest holes, so we can apply on different heights the hardwares. The top wedge shape will be the same, and the rounded contour for every size. So the contour style. Active contour is the base shell for all the depths. And one of the things that I really like on these back supports is that you can use only one shell and then apply different laterals for different deepnesses. So the first one is going to be the active. You can see that we will have 6.35 centimeters deep. Okay, so no lateral or contour supports. The deep one, we will have 10.16 added for the shell to provide a little bit more deepness. And then the extra deep will increase for 15.24 centimeters deep. But the shell will be exactly the same. So the good thing is that you can have one shell and two different contours, for example, and easily assemble with two set screws and send to the client. So it's easier for storage. It's going to be easier also to have less stock and provide a faster service to the end user. So then we go for the flex back style. This was the one that we were talking on the beginning. So the flex back style provide an area of spinal release. So this is ideal for kyphosis. It doesn't mean that it's specific for kyphosis. No, we have some spina bifida clients, for example, that they were really glad when we started working with it. Because when they have the injury outside of the spine, you don't want to apply pressure, any type of pressure there. So you can just remove everything from there, and you can still apply around the spine, but not having weight on the spine. So active and modular will use exactly the same cover. And the covers will always include moldable thermoplastic rigidizers. Active and deep will start with the same shell. And this is what we need to show you in terms of deepnesses. So we're gonna have the active 6.35, then 5.08, and then 15.24. So the moldable thermoplastic stabilizers. So usually we can do some customization on it by just providing some heat. So with a heat machine, it's going to be more or less easy to start bending for the client. And you can do it how many times you want to. So you can just provide some heat and then bend accordingly to your goals, postural goals or comfort or so on, and then apply to the users. Depending on the size of the back supports, you will have 2 or 4 rigidizers. Okay. So then we go for the cover materials and the available foams. So once again, I will not go deep in terms of products, just showing. because we have plenty of information here to just to show on this presentation. So the most common one that we are sending, and this is as a standard, it's going to be the co-core. So co-core product, it's a type of a cover that allows us in contact with the client to regulate the temperature accordingly to environment that we have there. So if we have a cold environment, it will retain the temperature of the body. But if we have a high temperature, for example, it will start spreading more the moisture that we have in terms of the body, and the product itself starts evaporating much more faster than a regular cover, and it will decrease the temperature in between the product and the client itself. So CoolCore, this is a really nice technology. It is pretty used in sport in sport clothes, and now we have exclusivity for the world to work it with the cushions, the head supports, and the back supports. Okay, so then we also offer the airflow mesh, the stealth deck, neoprene, and all covers will have honeycomb for the visible non-contact fabric. So the honeycomb, it's a little bit harder in terms of product itself, but it's only for the areas that are not in touch with the clients. So that type of fabric actually provides a little bit more stabilization of the foams, for example, for lateral foam, but it doesn't touch the body of the clients. All covers will have hook and loop material on the back of the cover. In terms of foams, the options that we are offering, it's the open cell medium, the extra soft sunmate FRG, extra soft sunmate, mid soft, and medium sunmate FRG. For those, we could spend once again like 1.5 to 2 hours just talking about foams. We have this type of presentation when we are presenting the cushions, that we go a little bit deeper in terms of materials, or foams or the covers. But here we are just showing that we can select this type of options for the foams, for the cushions, and for the back supports. So the quality of the open cell is superior to others on the market, and FRG offers many benefits over standard visco foam. Just to highlight some of these situations. One is going to be the moisture. So this type of foams just retain 5% of liquid. So other types of foams start just getting the liquid inside, and you can have like, I don't know, like 45, 50% of the foam and liquid inside. This type of foam just retains 5% of liquid. So you can wash the foam also on a wash machine, and easily it's going to dry quite fast if you compare it to the other ones. So layers. So on the back supports that we are offering from TFP, you can select 3 different layers of different foams. Depending and accordingly to the pathology or your goals on the positioning or comfort, you can just select different layers, so to provide more support or to decrease more the pressure and provide more comfort. So the foam in place. Foam in place, it's a combination of liquids that allows us to create molds on the back supports that we are offering. This is available for the rectangle and the I-style, and also for the contour line of the TFB. The good part of this is that you can use the same foam that you get from the back support and use it easily without the foam in place. But if you need to create a mold because you already have a big deformation, body deformation, a hump, for example, you can just create a mold on the back and easily settle up in 5-10 minutes maximum for the end user. If something goes bad and you need to, I don't know, like remove a little bit of the foam, You can just get out a little bit the foam itself and just put it properly, or you can just remove the mold and do a new one. In terms of price, this is pretty cheap in terms of products. So it's going to be an easy way. For example, if you are using with a client that it's going to grow, for example, or change a little bit in the future, you can use the mold and in 6 months or 1 year or 1.5 or 2 years, you can just remove and create a new one.
Is there a cushion version of that, Adner?
Sorry?
Is there a cushion version of the foam in place, or is it only for backrests?
I heard that certain companies are using the foam in place for cushions. To be honest, I know because I already saw once that it's really hard to make the mold for the cushion. It's really hard because this is a combination of 3 products. This is going to create a chemical reaction, and it starts opening the cells when they start reacting. I'm pretty sure that you already saw it. And then when we are talking about the bag supports, it will go up and get out from the bag that we apply inside. When you are talking about a cushion, usually you need to have a support base like a chair that allows you to do negative tilts, at least 10 or 15 negative tilts. So you can, or more or less, insert the liquid, put the bag up, then sit on the client and start doing the tilt to a normal positioning. And obviously, when the reaction starts, it wants to go up and get out. And to be honest, it's a mess. You can do it. Obviously, you can do it. If you do it properly, the result will be awesome because you are creating a mold, obviously. But to be honest, it's really hard to do it. We are not offering for the cushions. We are just offering for the back supports, at least for the moment. Okay. One of the other things that we are trying to set up also for us is that right now you can buy one portion of liquid or half unit of the liquid, but we are looking for a product that it's only one bag, that you can open one of the cells of the bag and mix on a handy way the 2 liquids, and then you remove the reactor, and when you combine the third, you will have like 5 minutes to apply the products. So it's going to be easier, but we are still looking at it to know if it's going to be used or not in the future. Okay. So neoprene covers only for now, other options coming for soon. So the TFP lateral wings. Lateral wings are only available on the rectangular bags. So the eye bags and the contour, we are not using these. So hinged non-swing away. So this is really fixed. Can be used as a hip guides or trunk supports, or both, as you will see here. As hip guides, they help with transfers, especially self-transfers, to guide the hip back into place, as well as maintain proper lateral alignment while seated. Available in, as you can see there, we can have 4 in a rectangular back support. So you can use the lower ones for hip control and the upper ones for trunk control. Available in cool core, airflow mesh, neoprene, and chosen material covers the hardware. So all the bolts and all the screws that you can see there, they will be just inside the cover. So you don't see and they don't mess around with the arms of the users. Offered as upper and lower wings. And we are offering these as a standard hardware mounting for the rectangular and the Y and the contour. So this is the standard one. You can use with full widths and between canes. So in order to achieve the best outcomes in each situation, multiple hardware configurations are available to choose from. And these include ADI series also, premium series. Those are the premium series, the JNL, the trouble-free, and the all-purpose knob, okay? So then we go for the flip lock. This is the one that Luke was saying in the beginning of the presentation, that it is really expensive. And to be honest, yes, it is. You are totally right. They are expensive. In terms of connection, they are brilliant, in my opinion. You can easily connect and disconnect with just one hand, for example. But I think that also the price, it is related to the amount of sales that we have, obviously. As always, as much as we are selling, we are decreasing prices. And this is a new product. We draw it specifically for the Diego seat. And then when we found that it is really easy to work with it, we start applying this hardware on different products like the ADI and TFB back supports. So fits multiple cane diameters, angle adjustable, 2 inches depth adjustability, 3-inch width adjustability. Flip lock is not side specific. It can be mounted further or rear of the canes. 4mm bolts, only available in 4-point configurations. And the ADI hardware includes the quick release, the 2-point Pro, compatible with those canes, and available in 2-point configurations. So as you can see, for the TFP, you can also use some ADI hardwares to mount those type of back supports. So now we are offering this specific for the TFP when we can mount this for the quantum power bases. So this is available for the Quantum TB3, but we also have it for the Permobile Corpus 3G, Sunrise, and Rovi. So being Stealth, a company that it is pretty open to the markets, we can sell products even for our competitors, and we have good relationship with them. So we created hardware specifically for their type of mounts. Not available.
Compatible with the Sideo frames from Sunrise? Do you know that?
With which one?
The backwards, are they compatible? Because you mentioned Sunrise. Does that mean that it's compatible with the Sideo systems?
Yeah. Yeah. In this case, it's going to be for the Sideo.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thanks.
So it's not available on flex back styles. So the interface for TB3, TB4 will be available soon. We are working on it.
Sorry, Adner, like, are you talking about the Sideo Bart on the Handicare chairs now owned by Sunrise?
Yeah, exactly. And the Sideo frame is more often used now, even on the power chairs and that sort of thing. It's kind of making the way through. So you see.
Yeah, so it's quite a narrow. Is that the same one you're talking about there, Adner? I wasn't actually aware of that myself.
And it's the aluminium extruded frame that they use.
Yeah, nowadays we are creating for all the frames because it's just guts for us to apply there. And one of the things that I think that I still don't have it here on this presentation, it's like an aftermarket adapter for any back support that we have here. That you can use rails or clamps depending on the tubes, and you can use it for almost all brands on the world. So that hardware, it's already available. I don't think that I have it here on the presentation, but I can send like a note later on when I share the link of it, because it's going to be an aftermarket hardware to apply whatever you need, wherever you need, okay? Yeah. So then we go for the belts. So belts for the trunk supports, we are offering the backpack style, the H harness, the chest straps, the Y straps, and also the posture supports. So this is the line of belts that we are offering right now to the market. We are expecting a few changes on a few products because we are constantly getting inputs and feedback from end users and dealers. And we are trying to improve as high as possible our belt line. So then we go for the Unilink. So Unilink for the spine, we are using for the laterals, obviously. So thoracic lateral supports are highly adjustable thoracic lateral supports. So they are used to help increase user stability and balance, may serve as a tactile reminder or to correct flexible lateral trunk flexion, may help maintain the user in a functional position which prevents further postural decay while diminishing the need for respective repositioning of the user during the day. Unilink thoracic are offered with multiple cane clamp options. We will show them. L bracket mounts of varying degrees to accommodate a wide range of bags and mounting locations. And we have the 4 seasons mounts. 4 seasons, it's like a small red button that allows us to go just laterally, not changing the angle that we defined when we did the positioning. So the pad mounts will be compatible with existing pad options. Links can be added and removed to achieve the perfect fit. So, so the swing weight that we are showing here, as you can see there, it's going to be on the top or on the beginning of the mounting, okay? They will provide 3 points of adjustment in the start-on configuration. So we will have 3 screws, and then you will still have an alignment of the cushion. Pad depth also adjustable, and those are the mounts. The mounts are not included. We have cane and crescent clamps. You can see the sizes, they are really different. All-season adapters. The all-season, it's going to be for lateral movement, not changing the angles that we define. And the lateral brackets, you can select the angles accordingly to the back support that you are using or the needs of the user. The full surface contact, the FSC, it's, for me personally, the best product that we are offering from Stealth. Why is that? When I start working with the FSC, the full surface contact, I realized that we can react with the lateral exactly like our fists. So we can do exactly what we do with our hands when we are positioning a client. We can do it exactly with the products. And that's why the full surface contact, in my personal opinion, it's the best product that we are offering on Stealth. It's not that cheap. It's not that expensive, but in terms of solution, in my opinion, we are the only ones offering a complete solution for a correct positioning of the lateral supports.
As I said, Adner, I've been recently fitting them since we've started using them, and now they're coming through the order process and they've been delivered. But I really like the sewing away of whatever people are trying to put the harness, or not the harnesses, where people are trying to put slings in, and how well they swing out and they swing in, or sorry, they swing out, and there's not leaving a part exposed. It kind of comes from behind the cushion as well. So I like that part.
One of the good things that I want to highlight here, I'm going back, is that right now, for example, the swing away that we have on the beginning, you have an option, for example, if you want to use it on the middle of the link or at the end of the link, okay? Like, for example, imagine that you have a client with a molded back supports made of foam, okay? And you will have like, I don't know, 5 centimeters or 77 centimeters of foam. And you want to apply a lateral, so you will apply like 4 different links, and then you want to do a swing away. If you have the cane in between the foam, you cannot make the swing away on the back, because when it opens, it will be locked on the foam. So at the end of the hardware, you can just mount the swing away and then just remove the cushion instead of removing totally the hardware. So one of the good things that Unilink brought us is that you can play also on the swing away button and apply it wherever you want to apply, For example, if we are talking about the new height-wise, the head supports, for example, we have a bar that allows you to make the swing away. But every time that you need to do the swing away, you need to apply it so properly that when you do the movements, it doesn't touch your ears, okay? So right now you can use two different swing away buttons that you can apply one on the beginning, the other one at the end, and you apply both at the same time, and you can play with hardware with your hands, you know? So it's a pretty much complete settled of the product, you know? It's pretty unique. So then we go for the knee joints. So knee joint here, we are just presenting the belts and the unilink options. So leg harness, it's one of the best options for the knee joint positioning. And then we go for the abductors. You can see that we have the fixed or swing away or removable hardwares, different cushions, and also an adjustable cushion, as you can see on the right side, that you can just go forward or back or just open and close the angle. In terms of abductor, this is probably the best choice because you can play with it accordingly to your needs and then select just one of the available hardwares that we have to offer. The adductors, you can mount it on the rail, as you can see on the picture, this is the option, or you can apply it on the F of the foot supports. So depending on different hardwares that you might have to apply it, for different canes we have different sizes, or just apply it on the rail of the base. Residual limbs, so this is angle adjustable, removable, and swing away. Once again, usually we apply this on the F of the foot plate, and this is for amputees, okay? So then we go for the ankle joints. For the ankle joint, we are offering the superior foot support, the toe strap.
Sorry, Adner.
Yeah.
Just on the swing away amp supports, what sort of tube diameter does that mounting bracket go to?
This one? This one?
Yes, that one, yes.
Usually it's 1 inch, but we will have different sizes also.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think,
it's just
I think the standard one, it's going to be for 1 inch. Okay.
Okay. I know there's some chairs out there with, yeah, I think they might actually go. I think they may go to the 30 mil. It's because there are chairs out there with the fixed front frames that have got 30 mil tubing on them. So yeah, just for a note.
Yeah. So the shoe holders and the calf supports, those are the ones that we are offering for the ankle joints. So head support. So once again, head support, we would have plenty of to go deep in terms of head support. We are just showing product here. So Comfort Plus, it's going to be the most basic line that we are offering here. I always like to highlight a few things on the Comfort Plus. One of the things is that all around the shelf that we are offering, we use a 3M rubber to prevent damaging the fabric. This is one of the small details that I always like to give detail, to highlight. The second one is that all our cushions are Velcro in. They are not glued, okay? And why do I like to highlight that? Because it happens a lot of times that clients have cats at home, for example, and a cat can go there and scratch or make a pee or something, and you need to wash the back supports. And if you need to wash the back supports, yeah, the head support, sorry, you don't want to put it all inside of the washing machine, obviously. So you can remove the fabric, you can remove the foam and wash the foam and wash the fabric and keep the head supports on the back support or on the cushion, okay? So it's one of the things that I like to always to highlight here. Then the adjustable Comfort Plus and the Tri Comfort Plus. Those, the lateral areas, you can just bend them and adjust accordingly to the needs of the user. The all positioning, the AP line, so the all positioning, we draw this line for cord injuries really high. Okay, a lot of times I can see children using the old positioning line. I don't like it that much, because if you have a certain amount of tone and the client is doing some tone on the backs, on the head supports, the laterals that are supporting the suboccipital area might start bending away. Okay, so the AP line was drawn for cord injuries really high, that they don't like to have anything inside the visual area that they are looking. And that's why we draw this type of head supports, and we have it also available. So the eye to eye, it's to position not the head, but the neck, okay? All the red parts from stealth, all of them are or for swing away or for removable parts. So all the buttons that you can see from stealth parts, being laterals, head supports, foot supports, adductors, all the red parts are for swing away or removable hardware. As you can see, we have a shim prompt there, and it's red. Why? Because you don't have to use it all the day. If the client is fighting and it's not liking it, just remove it and work with the eye to eye, just provide neck positioning. The Stealth Ultra, it's one of the most common lines that I work with. Why? Because you can use a swing away, a suboccipital cushion to work specifically with the suboccipital area, and then an occipital area. The hardware that you have on the rear allows you to make combinations about forward, reverse, different 360 angles, okay, around, and you can also bend back and forward, and that's good for the upper one and for the lower cushion. You can play around because we will have one sphere, two different spheres, more the hardware. So this is the most adjustable hardware that we are applying, working in different HLAs or head loading areas, suboccipital area and the occipital area. For all of them, as you will see on the presentation, we can add even more lateral supports. So the combo series, usually we are working with the occipital area and then with two lateral controllers. The lateral ones, you can work with switches, with proximity sensors built inside the products also. So it's pretty good for communication devices or driving, for example. And then the Ottobock, as you can see, those are our competitors, our distributors and clients. Okay, so once again, we have partnerships with a supplier, in this case Ottobock, and we can also offer the same head support as they are selling. Then we go for lateral control. The SUS, the CPS9, the O2 S9, those are all the variations that we are offering to control laterally positioning of the head. Once again, you can use it for positioning with different cushion sizes. You can use it for communication or driving. Instead of having cushions, you can just remove these and add a switch or a proximity sensor. So you can use it for different purposes instead of positioning. The tone deflector, as you can see from the name, tone deflector, it has to do with the tone. If you have a client with a high tone, for example, damaging all the hardwares that you have on your head support, probably it's because you are not using a tone deflector. Tone deflector, it's like a combination of 4 rubbers that allows you to do 10 degrees of movement for each side when the client is doing a lot of pressure because of the tone, and it will absorb and flex the head support in between the cushion and the hardware. Okay. And this is the Unilink new hardware that we are offering. So introducing the new Unilink provides near limitless adjustment possibilities. So multiple planes of adjustment allows for height, fore, after, pad angle, pad rotation, lateral offset. Available in 17 millimeters headrest ball because we are trying to standardize everything. So with the TWB line, the previous one, we would have for the comfort line a 1-inch ball. And then for the other lines, the 17 millimeters ball. And now we changed everything for the 17 millimeters headrest ball. Why? Because we wanted to simplify and to have all the products to be common in all the range that we had for the head supports. So instead of having, for example, a specific lateral for the Comfort Plus and then a specific lateral for all the rest of the line, we just increased the strength of the links, and now we can use just one 17 millimeters ball for all the products. So once again, a less stock, easy way of sending products for the end users. Fits all stealth headrest pads using this ball. What are the features? Link style design for fast, easy adjustments. So 6 points of adjustment in standard configuration. Multiple size links for near limitless adjustability. Ball mount for angle and rotational adjustability. A stop color for height reference. Stealth will carry 15 millimeters per 15 millimeters steams and 12 inches long. Okay. The Quantum will carry the 5.5 inches steams and 17 inches to or 12 long, depending on the back supports that you are using also. So the TB4 backrest back support will use a unique SBM. So this mounting hardware for the head supports that we will apply on the new TB4, this is quantum specific, allows you to offset laterally the positioning of the hardware of the head supports accordingly to the needs of the user. So this is a pretty unique and easy way of setting it for the user when we have lateral rotation and different strengths of the head to the back supports. So the SBM allows for ample lateral adjustment, cam lever designed for easy operation when releasing, and it's only available for the Quantum TB4, not for the other ones. Coinciding on the release of the Unilink headrest hardware will the updates of the CP series headrest. So this is exactly what I was saying. Instead of using a 1-inch sphere, now the Comfort line will use a 17 millimeter sphere. Okay. So all matrix, and we can use the cool core and honeycomb covers. As you can see, this is the honeycomb covers. Once this is on the back of the back support, of the head support, not touching the client, this is a much more harder product, okay? But then the other side, it's gonna be cool core, so it's gonna be much more comfortable for the end user. Cleaner zipper flat, closes completely. And one of the things that we changed is that usually we were sending these fabrics with a huge sticker right over there, a white one. And then now we are sending the sticker inside of the cover, finally. So then we go for the elbow supports. So elbow supports, first and foremost, prevent the upper extremity from sliding back of the armrest during tilt operation. Usually this is specific for the tilts, but you can use it just for lateral also stabilization with a different cushion. Prevents injury to shoulder from hyperextension and prevents the user from being unable to reach drive control when they are sitting and they are doing the tilts. So elbow supports can provide posterior support to assist in the maintaining the user, positioning for stabilized driving hand control operation. So fixed hardware, once installed, they can stay in place. Depth and height adjustable links, 17 millimeters ball as the head support as the other ones. multiple links that you can use depending on the placement that you want to get, multiple pad options to achieve the best outcome, and it's compatible with Quantum's TB4 arms, site specific to keep adjustment balls facing out. This is the flip back arm mount, so we will have also a flip back specific for the TB4. We are growing for the other brands. Side specific, so you need to select left or right accordingly to the side that you are using, 4mm threads. This is the 17mm ball link. And those are the pads available. The first one that we have here allows you to bend and then unbend to the clients. I like it personally because not only goes to the elbow, but also helps on the lateral side of the arm to prevent falling from the lateral side. That's why I really like this cushion. All those cushions are also available on gel inserts. So this is the before and this is the after using those kind of products. This is what we can achieve with the proper positioning, okay? So then we go for the Diego seat. So Diego seat we will not take along because we are just presenting this and the features that we have on the Diego seat. So this is going to be a pediatric product. As you can see there, we will have the honeycomb on all the rear parts, not in touch with the client, but all the parts in contact with the client will be Coolcore. So contoured seat system. We are offering back hardware cover, so all the hardware will be inside of the cover. You will not see anything from the back. Laterals, modular, laterals higher fixed or swing away. So those laterals, you can play with the height, you can play with the depth, with lateral depth, and then you can play a little bit with lateral angle, okay? Those are the options that we are offering with the laterals. Then we width grow, so you can increase the height and the width a little bit. It is obviously limited. It's not going to be like from 25 centimeters till 40. No, we are offering 3 different sizes. But on each side, you will have like 2.5 inches of growth, okay, more or less. So Coolcore covers, the flip lock mounting hardware, the contoured back system, so the back support will also be contoured, the multi-axis hardware, so the hardware for mounting the head supports, it's a multi-axis that we will have this hardware and that one on the top that allows us to play with the depth, with the height, and all the possible angles that you can imagine of a head support. So head system, head pad, and hardware. As you can see there, we are offering as a standard a comfort line, but obviously being these a stealth products, you can apply on the hardware whatever type of head support that we are offering for the market. And this is the Diego seat. So on the miscellaneous, I divided these in 5 different topics. So other pelvic thoracic supports, other upper extremity supports, other lower extremity supports, joystick and display mounts, and seating hardwares. So we have so many different references. Once again, as I told you on the beginning of the presentation, that we could not have everything here. Once again, I split it from the positioning products because it would be too much information for a specific area or body segments. That's why we just split it. So those are the series that we are offering for lateral supports, for example, the offset, standard, or reverse offset options. This is for fixed modular lateral supports or swingaways. Those are the pad mounts for the hardwares that we are offering for laterals. This is, I'm going fast just because This is just so you can know that we have it available, okay? So the TWBTL, so this is the thin lateral hardwares, 25 reduced thickness of the hardware. So this is good when you have a really tight option of a primary base, manual base, for example, and you want to use as less product possible in contact with the user. So other upper extremity supports. So this is the shoulder retractor. I didn't want to mention it on the positioning area because this is a really specific one and we don't use it that much. We have just really rarely a few cases that doesn't support anything on the chest or breast, for example, and you need to provide any information on the shoulders like your hand, and this is the shoulder retractors. Okay. So then we go for the lower extremity supports. So those are the ones that we are offering, like knee support, the residual limb support that we showed, leg straps, calf support pads, calf panels, foot boxes, and foot plates and foot supports. Those boxes, they are pretty common in the States. We can have them here. If you tell me that you will have a market for this, we can create a certain amount of stock in Europe, but right now we don't work with the foot boxes, okay? Just so you know. Joystick and display mounts. So for the joystick mounts, we have a few different options, okay? Peripheral mounts like the TWB, as you can see, the links will be changed for the new ones. We are still using the previous one, the TWB, okay? And you can use it also for the Gatlin that you can mount like the tables, for example, although, and those are positioning for joysticks, okay? Different brands, different products. So we can use it for the arm to 60, 30 degrees of tilt. You can use depth, rotation 360, and a ball length also for 360 rotation. Devices for laptops, iPads, or cell phones. And then the seating hardwares that we are offering. So usually the knob hardware, usually it's an easy way of quick release the hardwares. We are offering these also as a dynamic knob hardware. So this is one of the options that we are offering for back supports. When you have a really high tone, for example, and you want to address something for those particular cases, we can use these type of hardwares. This allows you to lock on the position as you wish, or if the client is using a lot of different changes and tone and doing a lot of different movements with the back support, for example, you can just release it and they will bend a little bit and then they will go to the primary position. So this is a dynamic knob hardware. So trouble-free hardware, this is the most common one that we use for the 4 points that you can easily just send this knob back and just quick release the hardware from the canes. The J&L hardware, those once again are probably the most basic one that allows you for different sizes, different tube sizes also. Make a selection of products, and you can use it for back supports or even for bases for the cushions. Okay, J&L, exactly the same, but different mounts. This is the drop lock. The drop lock, it's also an easy way of using the mechanism. This is the one that we were saying that it is pretty expensive yet. And this is it for the miscellaneous. And obviously, I couldn't go away without talking about technology. So this is also an easy and fast way of talking about it. So this is our iDrive. Right now, we are still offering the iDrive, the new one, 4.1, with Bluetooth already. We have 6 ports that you can combine mechanical, proximity, or fiber optic sensors. And you can use it for driving or for communication. We can set that on different technologies. So we can use it for quantum technology, for RNet technology, and we are on an easy way doing everything that we can do on programming for all the technologies that we have available. I'm not showing here the Invacare one, the links, but we can also use it on the links. It's not a problem. So what is the family of products? Head arrays, the SIP and puff, the tray arrays, the PMBJ, the mini proportional one, and the fiber optics. So all of those combinations that you can see there, as you can see, we have it on the table. We can mount it on a different table. We can have it separated and mount it wherever we have the function. So it's a question of having imagination and bringing the product and applying it to the user. And then the iConnect. I like a lot the iConnect, and unfortunately in Europe, it's not that often being talked about. iConnect, it's a way of using different ways of clicking instead of mechanical switches, okay? The best example, if you have a patient on an hospital bed with a disease that they don't have strength enough to press a button to call assistance, we can use an iConnect. So the iConnect allows to transform more or less a mechanical switch to a proximal sensor, a SIP and puff, or a fiber optic sensor, okay? So those are the ones that we are offering right now. So you can use like fiber optics, you can use SIP and puff, and you can use proximity sensors as a switch. As you can see on the first one, we are using fiber optics. Those are the fiber optics. And at the end, you will always have a jack as a mechanical switch. The SIP and puff, you will have two different jacks, okay? For the first two lines, proximity sensors, and also the proximity and the fiber optics, you will need a battery or power, okay? The SIP and puff, you don't need anything. You just need to be able to do a SIP and a puff. With a SIP, you will have one instruction. With a puff, you will have another instruction, okay? So what apps are we offering? So the iDrive config allows us to make the configuration of all the iDrives. We are offering also the iClick. iClick, it's a software that allows us to move the joystick mouth of a computer with the head support or with whatever iDrive that you are using. Might be a chin prompt, just one finger proximity sensors. You can just use it as a mouth emulation. We are offering the game loons. This is for usually pediatric purposes, but not only, okay? So this is a game that we draw that allows us to use a special device like a chin prompt or proximity sensors or fiber optics to play a game. Knowing that if the user can play a game, obviously he can also drive a chair. And we are offering the new iDrive VR system. So virtual reality that we will have 3 different teams, an indoor with a gymnasium, an indoor inside a house, and an outdoor on a park driving a chair with a special device and using virtual reality to do it, okay? And this is pretty much the product presentation that we had from South. We get till the end of the presentation. So if you have any questions or doubts, please feel free to open your mics and cameras and just to chat a little bit.
Thank you very much, Adner. That was fantastic. I still remember the time that you first showed me the VR system where I fell off a stool. It was something else and crashed the wheelchair.
A few times.
Yeah. Well,
No, it's no.
So guys, we have a very small group today. We're again, as per last week, we are at the HSE in the south of Ireland. Has the cyber attack has taken control, or is still in control of the computers, and everybody's locked out of their computers. So that obviously is having an effect on the numbers. But it is being recorded, and the links for all of the stealth series are going to be available. So if you're rewatching this, yeah, you're obviously rewatching. So thank you for that. Yeah, guys, any questions?
Hi, look, Linda here. Sorry, I'll put my video on. Could you tell us some more about the tone deflector? Does that act like the socket of the ball and socket joint then? You know, the tone deflector for the stealth headrests? So I'm just not so familiar with them.
Yeah, the tone deflector, imagine like a small sphere, okay? That when you put it on the side, it will do this. Imagine that you have the head of the user doing tone to back, it will do this. It will deflect 10 degrees upper and also laterally, okay? So it doesn't matter the angle that they are creating pressure, the tone deflector will absorb the shock of the pressure that user is doing.
So where is it located within the headrest assembly?
You will have the head supports, and you will have the tone deflector, and then you will have the hardware to apply it on the back support.
So it's just behind the headrest pad, right?
So it's going to be between the cushion and the hardware.
Hardware, okay.
Why did we draw it? We had a lot of problems of patients doing a lot of having tone, obviously, and breaking the links on the back.
Yes.
They were breaking the links because the tone was so high and they were fighting so high with the back supports that it was just breaking. That's why we created a way of start absorbing it. So the client, when relaxed, it goes to the primary position and it works really nice.
So inside there's the little device. It's about, you know, such a little round device, Linda, and then inside it has these 4 little rubber bushings that, as Adner says, that's the part that gives you your tone deflector. So it's a kind of a circle inside a circle with the rubber bushings in there, and then that gives you that little bit of, you know, that 10 degrees of movement for the tone, and it's absorbed in there. Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you.
As I say, we have I don't know if you are, well, you probably all are aware that the Comfort Company, we were a big advocate for the Comfort Company products. Unfortunately, there's quite a supply issue with Comfort Company. They're not supplying outside of the US anymore for what do you call it, just production reasons and so on. But we've been using the Trueform Flex backrests, and I must say that, like I was just speaking out at the beginning there, Linda, I think you might have missed that part, that I've been very impressed with them. No, not at all. No, it's just it is definitely it's a very it's a very similar product to the Comfort Company Embrace backrests. So it is we're very happy with the results that we've been getting with it. And likewise, what you were saying, Adner, about I rarely use the iStyle. I can see where there's benefit to it, but I just think the rectangular one, it just looks a little bit better as well. The I one, I don't see really the major benefits of it.
Exactly. But I totally understand, because it's one more product, you know. I think it's pretty easy when you have a market gap, and in the States it's not a gap, you know. They use it a lot. So here in Europe, it depends. I always show it, and then I will have reactions like, I will never work with it. Oh, okay, I think I will work with it, you know. And well, we show them, you know.
Yeah, it amazes me the product range that Stealth have is just phenomenal. It is
I'm
just
quite stunned. I mean, I'm quite stunned by it all, to be honest. There's so much that, like you say, that flex back, you know, with the area for the spinal relief. Have you guys got one of those? Have you got one of those for assessment? No.
I don't know if we have those ones for the spinal release. I think we just got the modular ones, the flex modular. That's the ones we have.
Yeah, I'm quite stunned. The range of stuff, and even within like the elbow block, there were so many options there. You know, size of pads. You know, it was amazing. Really good. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
There's another armrest pad as well. I think there's the one with the sides that you can get. I wouldn't know, they're actually just on the Quantum chairs. I don't know if they're actually a stealth product. There's another one that has, you've got your pad, and then they have little parts coming up the side or at the back. But I don't think they're a stealth product, but you can get them on Quantum chairs.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Adner, again, thank you very much for the last 4 weeks. I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, hopefully we'll see you soon, and enjoy all of the visitors that you're going to get to Portugal, because it seems to be the only place where anybody can go.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation. It was really a pleasure to be here this month. I loved working with you once again, and hopefully we will work as soon as possible. More directly. I'm anxious to go there.
Thank
again.
you.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. Me too. Okay, guys. Any last questions there from anybody? Okay, Adner, I'll let you hit the button. Thank you very much again, guys. Everybody, enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Enjoy the sunshine for the weekend.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. There we go.
Bye. Thank you.